lives. Gaza's civil defense agency says at least 51 people were killed by Israeli strikes on Monday, including 24 in a deadly strike on a seafront rest area in Gaza City. Eyewitnesses described scenes of horror, with body parts scattered, blood on the ground, and families scrambling for cover. The targeted spot was a popular area for civilians seeking internet access, refreshments, and moments of respite. The Israeli army said it is looking into the reports, but has not yet issued a formal statement. Separately, another 27 people were reported killed across Gaza, including 11 near aid distribution points. Witnesses claim Israeli drones and ground troops opened fire as people gathered for food. The escalation comes despite new momentum for peace following the end of Israel's 12-day war with Iran. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Israel to make the deal in Gaza, while Qatar says a path towards a new ceasefire may be opening. But Israel's military remains focused on eliminating Hamas and securing the release of hostages. Defense Minister Israel Katz said Israel will press on until its objectives are met. Since Hamas's deadly cross-border attack on October 7, 2023, which killed over 1,200 people, Israel's response has killed more than 56,500 people in Gaza. According to the Hamas-run health ministry, the UN says these figures are reliable and that the vast majority of the dead are civilians. As the toll mounts, peace mediators and civilian groups are pushing hard for a durable truce. Now we have guest joining us for this discussion, Jordan Cope. He's a Middle East expert. Thank you, Jordan, for staying with us. Now, looking at this, reports of civilians killed at a seafront rest area and near aid points again. How can Israel maintain that its campaign is targeting Hamas effectively without crossing clear humanitarian red lines?
I mean, of course, every civilian life lost is a tragedy in war. Civilian lives, unfortunately, are an expected collateral in any war. According to the United Nations, 90% of all casualties in war are civilian casualties. But it should be noted that in this war, Hamas thrives off of misinformation, and the numbers being reported from that seafront property are being actually published and issued by the Palestinian Civil Defense, which is a government-run agency accountable to the Palestinian Ministry of Interior in the Hamas-controlled Gaza Strip. So in other words, it's a Hamas-controlled agency. It's important to note that at the end of the day, that Hamas has lied continuously throughout the war about the casualty count. It initially noted that the civilian death toll was actually thousands higher, and then eventually Hamas changed it secretly, which was later caught by international media. Statisticians such as those at the University of Pennsylvania have frequently debunked Hamas's statistics, and Hamas, when it was finally getting protested by many Palestinians in the Gaza Strip, realized that it had to show that the war actually wasn't as bad as Hamas once claimed in terms of casualty count, and it ultimately once again fudged the figures to show that more likely the actual casualty count, of which 72% supposedly were men, which goes to show that Israel was more likely than not actually targeting combatants, and combatants of the age where they were likely to be fighting. And so Hamas thrives off of misinformation because its ultimate goal is to delegitimize Israel, and it seeks to portray Israel as targeting civilians. But even with Hamas's statistics, it goes to show that Israel, unlike most other nations, has actually managed to reduce the civilian count and the proportionality thereof to record lows in modern-day urban warfare, protecting civilians, providing evacuation routes, providing millions of warnings, whether through phone calls or through leaflets. Israel has gone far and beyond as well to provide humanitarian aid, providing over 1.7 million tons of food and other resources throughout the war, and providing more humanitarian aid during this war than actually before the war in the Gaza Strip.
Thank you, Jordan. You will stay with us as we stay on this